transportation at that time. This was more than 7 years before the first dirigible flight in the U.S. in 1904. From April 15th to 19th, 1897, reports were coming in from all over Texas, as reported in the Houston Post and the Dallas Morning News. These sightings culminated on April 17, 1897, 20 miles northwest of Fort Worth, Texas, in the small town of Aurora, where an airship hit a windmill of one Judge Proctor, according to the Dallas Times-Herald newspaper article by E. Hayden, appearing 2 days later on the 19th. The resulting explosion scattered debris of the airship for several acres, and quoting from the article, "The pilot of the ship is supposed to have been the only one aboard, and while his remains are badly disfigured, enough of the original has been picked up to show that he was not an inhabitant of this world." Papers found on his person, evidently the records of his travels, are written in some unknown hieroglyphics and cannot be deciphered. This ship was too badly wrecked to form any conclusion as to its construction or motive power. It was built of an unknown metal. The town today is full of people who are viewing the wreckage and gathering specimens of strange metal from the debris. Little known to the public is the fact that the inventor of the horseless carriage road engine was not Henry Ford, but one George B. Selden. Selden sold his patent from 1895 to the Association of Licensed Automobile Manufacturers, and the companies in the fledgling industry were required to pay only 1% of their yearly earnings to this association. Henry Ford refused to abide by the Selden patent and was quoted as saying that Selden and his patent can go to hell. Rockefeller took an interest in Ford, whose case was lost when the court decided in favor of the Association of Licensed Automobile Manufacturers. Rockefeller came to Ford's defense with plenty of money and legal counsel, and when Ford appealed, the Court of Appeals overturned the previous decision, ruling in favor of Ford. The invention by Nikola Tesla of the AC induction motor around 1900 dealt a serious blow to Rockefeller and Ford's plans for an automobile industry that would rely heavily on crude oil refined into gasoline. This combination of a combustion motor and its need for gasoline could create a fortune for Ford and rescue Rockefeller from the falling price of kerosene due to the advent of electricity. Tesla's invention would create cars running on electricity and topple the giant, and using Ford and Thomas Edison, who tried to prove that AC was a danger, Rockefeller managed to turn the automobile industry towards combustion engines and gasoline. Ford's Model T became a hit, he became extremely wealthy, and Ford became a huge employer of labor in Michigan, a labor force he ruled over in a heavy-handed authoritarian fashion. On November 18, 1906, after years of public outrage, the Justice Department finally filed suit in federal court to dissolve Standard Oil. Over 12,000 pages of testimony and nearly 1,400 exhibits were part of the case against Rockefeller. On August 3, 1907, U.S. District Court Judge Kennesaw M. Landis fined Standard Oil $29.24 million and ordered that Standard Oil be broken up into 7 separate corporations. Standard Oil appealed Judge Landis's decision, and later, Federal Appellate Court Judge Peter S. Groscup revoked the fine. However, the ruling on the breakup of the company still stood. Standard Oil took the breakup case to the U.S. Supreme Court, and on May 15, 1911, Chief Justice Edward White ordered Rockefeller to dismantle Standard Oil into 7 separate corporate entities. However, Rockefeller was not ordered to divest himself or his shareholders of any of their properties. Now Rockefeller owned 6 giant oil companies and 1 large petrochemical company. His wealth had simply been grouped differently, and he had beaten the system and avoided paying any fines whatsoever. Many senators and congressmen were dismayed, knowing that the Supreme Court had behaved exactly how Rockefeller wanted. This allowed for the appearance of fair competition, eliminated any future legal matters regarding monopolistic behavior, and yet allowed Rockefeller to retain all his holdings and wealth, and gave him the cover to diversify into other sectors of